Good evening, morning, and afternoon, and thank you for tuning in with another villain lore.
Harry,
And today, I'm doing one on the Lizard, aka Curtis
close to
Connors.
finding Dr. Connors. As soon as I stick him with the antidote, this suit's coming right back to you.
By the way, I'm also kind of talking this low
Okay.
because the baby
Let me know
is
when you find
asleep at the moment. He's literally sitting about 2 or 3 feet away from me. So I'm trying to keep this as smooth as possible, as cool as possible. And if he wakes up, you'll feel the difference. Anywho, the Lizard is not really a villain who became a villain just because. It was more because of circumstances, actually. Now, I had to do a little bit of more research on the Lizard because from what I know is from books that I've read that are up to date and also from the 1994 Spider-Man TV show. I did not know that he is a war veteran or someone who enlisted in the army.
Only the lizard could leave a sewer worse than he found it.
Now, originally, him being in the army is how he lost his arm. He was a medic in the army, but he took a bomb to the arm, and of course, they honorably discharged him. And he's originally from Florida. I'm thinking everybody here in this darn Spider-Man universe is from New York. He is from Florida, but that's where his journey into reptilian science began. He went from trying to be a medic in the army to being a scientist who studied reptiles, and his goal was to repair his arm. He was very passionate and adamant on the science of reptilian not reproduction, but excessive healing. And at this point in time, even after he got out of the army, he had a son and he had a wife, and that part of the comic book and this game is also true. Now, he made the lizard serum in Florida, but he was doing too much damage in the swamp and in the city. He ventured to New York City. He set up shop, and then it was the Daily Bugle who nicknamed him the Lizard. It went from becoming an addiction to becoming like the Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde type thing.
So many old antidotes. Useless now.
Because there are times where he would appear to be a fully grown mindless lizard grabbing random shit, to where if the lizard actually spoke, it was more in like the third person versus the first person. Instead of like I, he would sometimes say we, or kind of like Venom but smarter. Out of all the Spider-Man villains, I think he's the third or fourth most smartest.
Was that me?
Now, his history in comic books is all over the place.
Great.
From him being one of Spider-Man's greatest nemesis to being one of his best friends, which specifically is Curt Connors. He's been hunted down by Kraven. He's been a member of the Sinister Six.
Not it.
Norman Osborn has twisted this man's, metaphorically speaking, arm to even get out of jail. He even bribed him using his family, and a couple other villains have done the same. But he's more of an anti-hero, but he doesn't do heroic stuff just because he does it because he's in a situation where he might have to do it. But 9 times out of 10, he's always a mindless fighting machine.
We've been through this before, Connors! If you're in there, I could really use your help!
Now, like as I said before, I have known this character specifically from the 1994 Spider-Man TV show, and in that show, I believe his history was retconned for the sake of the show. The way they portrayed his accident in that show is it was from a helicopter crash. They kind of bounced off that idea from the Amazing Spider-Man movie back in 2012. They kind of bounced off that idea as well, saying it was like more of a conspiracy behind it. But in that show, he was actually one of Peter Parker's teachers, kind of like how Dr. Octopus at one point was his teacher. Ooh. Didn't I dodge that? Strange.
Let me help you!
But he got turned into the Lizard same way because he wanted to heal his arm.
Fighting me. This is the only way to get you.
Excuse me. And the person who was really chasing after him was Eddie Brock.
Still.
And frankly, the Lizard story in this TV show was really the start of Eddie Brock's hatred for Spider-Man. Eventually, Spider-Man managed to cure him, and he brought him back to his family. In the process, though, Eddie Brock was made a fool of and was fired from the Daily Bugle eventually after the Venom saga. Later down the line, he ended up getting back to being the Lizard again, and then somewhere in the midst of all this, he met underground lizard people, which I think is a continuous trope in certain comic book, TV show, or media. Now, like I said before, he's a member of the Sinister Six. He's more of an off-and-on member, more like coerced member, more voluntold than volunteered. He's been in infinite amount of forms of media, from TV shows to finally being in the movies. He's one of the new, I would say he's one of the Spider-Man villains I was happy to see on the movie screen, because I didn't want them to be like Batman where they keep using the same type of villains over and over and over. Like, there are like 17 versions of Joker right now and I can't keep up with all of them, but there's only been one Lizard in the movie by far. So really two, because Kirk Connors was played by two different actors, but the Lizard was only played by one actor, like physically.
Stop! You're hurting people.
And of course, not only was he in the Amazing Spider-Man movie,
Now the police are involved.
sorry, so I was trying. He was also in Spider-Man No Way Home as one of the members of the Sinister Six. He was a big factor in the Ultimate Spider-Man TV show featuring Drake Bell, or voicing Drake Bell. He came up in almost every season.
Slow down.
He was also in Spectacular Spider-Man, which is one of the best Spider-Man shows around at the moment. I had the whole entire series on DVD, thank God for that. And of course, he's in this game. He's mentioned in the first game. You've seen him in Miles' game at the end of it as that post-credit scene. He was in Ultimate Alliance as one of the first few boss fights in the game. I think, if I'm not mistaken, you fight him on the helicarrier. I could be wrong. It's either the helicarrier or the Mandarin's house, or the Mandarin's mansion, whatever, castle, whatever you want to call it.
Are you kidding me, Connors?
He's also in Web of Shadows. I also remember him in Shattered Dimensions. I haven't played Edge of Time, so I couldn't tell you if he was there or not. He was also in the Ultimate Spider-Man game, and I believe he was in one of Tobey's Spider-Man games. I think specifically in the third one.
Stay still. Hunters. Really?
If I see more of them, cool. Oh, that's what it is. The Lizard in Spider-Gwen's universe was Peter Parker. And not only was he like that in the books, he was also portrayed as way in the movies as well, which was comic accurate.
Stay away.
And he was more loving and envious of Spider-Woman versus hating her and becoming a villain for her. He was really just trying to get back at Flash Thompson, I think, or one of the darn bullies in that darn comic book. I forgot already. And I have the first volumes, 0 through 2 right now of Spider-Gwen, and I have forgot the darn dude's name.
Here it comes.
If he's in future products or future media, I hope he comes back sometime in the games. It was fun to play him in this game. Even Kraven's Last Hunt was played pretty well in this game when you tried to hunt him down like right now. So, we'll see.
Not losing this antidote.
Now, oh, I also forgot he was in the Amazing Spider-Man movie tie-in game. And it was fun fighting him in that game as it is in this game. I think that those games are kind of underrated. A lot of people didn't like the second one. Some people talk trash on the first one, but the first one was heat, man. It was really heat. I believe he might have been one of Marvel's Capcom games. I'm not sure. Or one of the Marvel fighting games. One of them. They need to go ahead and reboot that, but that's okay.
Connors!
He's also friends with both the Avengers and the Fantastic Four, and he's also a friend of Daredevil. You know, street tiers gotta stick together.
I got you.
Ooh, it's always the tail. I also think I forgot to mention this, but he's also part of the animated TV show called Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, and the 1960s Spider-Man show as well.
Regeneration is so cool and so gross.
Damn.
Fine. If I have to hurt you, I will.
Ow.
For all the times I've helped you, figured you could return the favor for once.
Nope.
You're too weak to get control back, aren't you?
Ow, that was on me.
Tail is taking evolution way too far. No wonder your family left you.
Bam, bam.
You're not strong enough.
I wonder, well, this is a stretch since Sony's verse is not doing as well as it might have been a couple years back. If he ends up getting his own movie like every other Spider-Man villain recently, that'd be pretty cool. I'd be a little interested to look at it. If you think so, let me know in the comments below. If not, it is what it is.
I'm not even doing this for me. Harry needs you. You remember him?
I hope Andrew does come back though for part 3. Rather be his version of the Sinister Six or Venom, whichever one happens first. Well, anyway, guys, thank you for tuning me in with this lizard lore, villain lore. My apologies, and I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Later, Websters.